and get a vibe for this room. Like, what do you think this room was for? In my head, I just over and over kept hearing that would scare me so much. I'm literally not kidding you. We all ran in a different direction. Oh my god. I just had to hang on a sec. I just dropped my phone. No. Oh fuck. You know what? I've heard stories like that. Like, I've seen. Welcome to episode 3 of Midnight Messages. I'm your anonymous host, and this is a podcast where we talk about stories of getting ghosted and also ghosts. So thank you for joining me. Guys, I'm just so hyped. At the time I'm recording this episode, my first episode is actually live. Like, what the fuck? Oh my god, I can't even believe it. It's so surreal. And I'm just having so much fun. I hope you enjoyed the first episode. If you did and you're here listening to this third episode, thank you for being here. As usual, I would just want to start this by saying I love ghost stories and horrible dating stories, and I'm not quite at a point yet where people are sending in their stories, which is totally fine because there's so much creepy shit on the internet that I would just sit here scrolling through it and reading it anyway. So the fact I get to do it with you guys is so much fun. I might tell one of my own stories today, and then we can get into Reddit as well. If you have a story that haunts you, please send it through to my email. It's in the podcast description of every episode. And I'm just looking forward to episode 3. I feel like this is just going to keep getting creepier and creepier every episode, which I love that vibe. My favorite vibe is creepy, horror, darkness, Halloween, all of that is just, it's my vibe. Like, I love Halloween literally more than Christmas. And my best friend always calls me a Grinch, but like, sorry, I fucking love Halloween. So let's just get straight into it. I think we'll start with one of my stories, and yeah, then we'll get into some really creepy Reddit threads. Okay, I want to tell kind of a creepy story, but it's also a funny story. There's sort of 2 parts to it. This is something that happened to me probably like 3 years ago, so it's maybe 2 years ago. It was pretty recent. Basically, me and 2 of my friends, we went to an abandoned mental hospital that's somewhere in Australia, and they do tours of it. So I was so down to do this. I'd wanted to go for a really long time, and we finally, it's really hard to tee up dates, as you know, as you get older, but we finally teed it up. And we drove there, and it was literally at night time. So we're in a really small group. It was just us 3, and there was another couple with us, and then the group leader. So the girl that was in the couple that was in our group, she said that she'd been on that tour like 8 times. So I don't know if she was a local, but she obviously really rated it. So, and our group leader was such a fucking icon. She had this like vampy black coat on, she had dark purple lipstick, like she looked so sick. But yeah, I remember pulling up to this place at nighttime, was so eerie. It had been an asylum for such a long time, way back in the day. So she sort of gave us a heads up at the start that the practices back then weren't humane. You know, people were held there basically against their will, sometimes for reasons that were unethical. Like, there was just a lot of darkness at this place. So yeah, we started the tour. I remember literally pulling up though. It was like pulling up to the haunted mansion or something. It was so creepy. This driveway and this old rusted gate and this massive building. There were so many rooms, and we were the only like 6 people in this building in the middle of nowhere in the middle of the night. So it was just already creepy, but I loved it. We're doing a tour of the whole place. We went to different wings. I think one of the first places we went to was the morgue, which was this little building out the back. The lady that was in our group, I need to give her like a name. Let's just call them Greg and Sue. So Sue wanted to go into the, I don't know, the cabinet or whatever, like the dead bodies are in. She laid on this steel bed and then got pushed into the wall just to experience it, I guess. Dude, there was no fucking way I was doing that. But yeah, she didn't last very long in there, which fair enough. So the weird thing that happened was, I personally have had weird things happen in my life where I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's inner knowing. I don't know if it's very, very, very small psychic something. But I have had so many weird things happen in my life where I hear something in my head and then a few seconds later it happens, or it's true, or I can't really explain it. But so we walked into this random room. There was no signs on anything. We didn't know what ward we were in, if it was men or women's or what it was. I just remember we walked into this small carpeted room, really small. It was like the size of a small bedroom. And she shut the door and she said, I just want everyone to just take a second and get a vibe for this room. Like, what do you think this room was for? And literally instantly in my head, I just over and over kept hearing the word baby. Like, in my head, it was like someone was talking to me, just kept saying baby, baby. And I remember literally thinking, well, I'm not going to answer her and say baby, because that's not really an answer to her question of what is this room for, baby. So I just didn't say anything. Anyway, probably like, I don't know, 10 seconds passed. And she just went, well, this was the birthing room. And dude, I got chills up my back. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what? Because I guess the people that were patients there, which is so horrible, they would literally get like locked in there when they were in labor if they came to the hospital pregnant, and they pretty much would just leave them in there to go through their labor. So it was a really heavy room. But yeah, that was a situation where I don't know why that happened or what that was, but I have had so many things like that happen, which I'm sure I'll sprinkle them throughout episodes, but it was just strange and I don't know what it was. But I can tell you something funny as fuck, that like something just crazy that happened at the pretty much towards the end of the tour. By the way, after the tour, me and my two friends were gonna stay in this like country cabin in the middle of nowhere because it was like a 5-hour drive home. So at this point, it's about midnight. We're near the end of the tour, and we went to this long, skinny building that was 3 levels. And she told us that there's a lot of energy in here because a lot of the people that stayed in here were cremated against their religious beliefs. Like, they pretty much didn't treat them with any respect and cremated them, even if it wasn't what they wanted. So it was said to be a really angry building. And we went in there, and there was this little living room, this really old school living room with like a chandelier and an old school fireplace, and it was just very eerie. It felt like an old house. And the group leader said, what each of us are going to do is it was this really long hallway, okay? You're going to walk to the end of the hallway, up the stairs to that middle level, walk all the way down that hallway and come down the other stairs and come back on your own. Dude. And literally, I think I asked to go last because I was like, fuck, ugh, I've played horror, like, video games. I've seen so many horror movies, like, just thinking, I know I'm gonna be the one that goes up there and gets fucking snatched by a demon. So everyone who went up there before me, I could just hear them like legging it down the hallway, like just the loudest running footsteps, because yeah, fair enough. When it was my turn, it was so scary, dude. Just looking down this really long hallway, you're all the way upstairs on your own, and pretty much the hallway was just lined with doors that were open. It was just probably like 50 bedrooms where patients would have stayed. All the doors are open. So every door I'm walking past out of my peripheral vision, I'm just thinking I'm going to see someone standing there. It was a horrible feeling. So then after we'd all done that, the group tour leader went out for a smoke. Me and my two friends went up to the top floor, because we were just allowed to go explore for a little bit. And we saw like Greg and Sue, like the couple, go do their own exploring. So me and my friends are on the top floor. Picture a creepy dark hallway, just a flashlight. I'm at the front and I have an EMF reader, which is, I think it's electromagnetic frequency. It basically is like a ghost detector. They say that ghosts give off this like magnetic or electro energy, and it comes up on the reader. So I'm holding that in front of me with a flashlight. Behind me is one of my friends who's holding on to the back of my shirt, and my other friend was at the back holding her shirt, and we were just like this line of terrified people. And I'm of course at the fucking front, and my friend at the back, I don't know what they're called, but it's like headphones, and it almost looks like a megaphone, but what direction you hold it in, it picks up the sound and magnifies it in your headphones, so you can pick up really quiet voices. So she's at the back holding that, okay? So we're walking down this hallway. We're all so scared. Like, I'm shaking. And I remember we were walking and we're out the front of like one of the bedrooms, probably in like the middle of the hallway. And my machine started going like beep, 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 beep. And we just stopped. And I was like, what do I do? Like, what the fuck? And my friend just goes, ask a question. And I was like, oh my God, okay. I said, did you die here? And literally, instantly, to the right of us, where the empty room was, we just heard, yes! And we fucking, like, I literally am not kidding you. We all ran in a different direction. My friend fucking face planted. My other friend, threw the fucking headphones off her head at the wall. I am screaming my lungs out, sprinting down the hallway. Like, I have never in my life been that scared. To the point where, like, when we eventually got downstairs, we're, like, hyperventilating, like, guys, there's an actual demon up there. I'm not fucking kidding. Like, and I remember just looking, we're on the bottom floor now, I could see the group tall person. Why the fuck can't I name this person? We saw the tall leader running down the hallway with her fucking cloak at us, like, going, what happened? What's wrong? I was so scared. I've never in my life felt that scared, because I literally was like, we're going home. Like, we're leaving right now. I don't ever want to talk about this. I just actually thought I had the most terrifying experience on the face of the earth. And, like, I know this shit has happened to people before. Like, one of my friends, Chris, he did, like, ghost hunting with his friend Shane. And they, like, in a video of his, there's literally a girl screaming at the top of her lungs, and like the fear, they all do the same. They literally all run into each other. It's the worst feeling. So anyway, we're shitting ourselves, we're panicked, we're trying to make sense of it, and literally as we're doing that, that couple walked downstairs, pissing themselves laughing. Dude. And as annoyed as I wanted to be, I was so relieved. I literally was like, oh, thank fuck it was a human. Okay, it was a human. We're fine. But also, I was like pissed, because I'm like, I can't believe you pranked us. Like, you're the one who comes on this like group tour, this ghost tour regularly. You're very spiritual. Like, as if you would fuck with us like that. What? But no, dude, she got us so good. So good. But yeah, for a split second, I'm not joking, I truly thought, I'm like, we need to do an exorcism or something. This is like, I was considering driving 5 hours home in the middle of the night, because I just was lost for words. That was fun. I actually would love to do like a ghost tour like that again. I reckon when I go, I think I'm going back to America like next year sometime. I wanted to go later this year, like October, to go like to Salem for Halloween, but that shit's expensive. Anyway, I reckon today we'll just start with the paranormal stories. I reckon let's just get into the creepy stories first, and then we'll get into a couple of dating stories. I'm back on the paranormal subreddit, which I was on last time, which, by the way, those 2 fucking stories were so scary. Like, I'm still thinking about the Goodwill story. It just gives me the fucking heebie-jeebies just thinking about someone standing in the aisle staring at you deadpan, like out the corner of your eye. Like, what do you actually want? Like, that makes me, that story definitely is stuck with me. And the story about like the old lady that was in the shack and the cackling, even just her being like that visual of her basically hanging from a beam smiling. Oh my god, not okay. All right, this is a Reddit question thread where people basically comment their replies. This prompt is really interesting to me. The question is, people who used to not believe in ghosts but do now, what experience changed your mind? Oh my god. So this is on a subreddit that just says Ask Reddit, and it was posted by musician_moneyless 6 years ago. So we're just going to read some of these comments. I grew up in a scientific family. I never knew my dad's stance on ghosts, but they were never talked about it, so it didn't really matter. One day when I was in high school, we were eating dinner, and I decided to ask my dad about our old house and moving into it when I was just a baby. So he told me a story. Apparently, when we moved into this house, we lived there about a week before we started to receive gifts once a week. Every Friday morning, my dad told me that there would be some sort of handcrafted gift sitting on the mantle of our fireplace. My dad was reasonably freaked out by this because we were the only ones with keys to the house and the last owner moved well out of the state. So he informed the local police and they decided to patrol the property every Friday night looking for intruders. They found nothing, and as you can imagine, the gifts kept coming. So my dad told me they eventually gave up, and feeling helpless, he went to our local church. Eventually, he had a priest come and bless the house, and we stopped receiving gifts. Oh my god. What the hell? What really freaked me out about this was the fact that my dad never believed in ghosts and didn't mention once that a ghost was causing these gifts to appear. He's an engineer, so he always tries to debunk people's paranormal stories with a realistic explanation, but he was 100% serious with this story. One of the gifts we received, we actually still have. It's a wooden sled with a small painting of a man, presumably my dad, pulling me and my sister on a sled. What the hell? Oh, it's like a little figurine of the family. Dude, that would scare me so much. That is so scary. Could you imagine, like, just once a week, no one's broken into your house, no one else has keys, there's police patrolling the property telling you there's no one coming in and out, and you just find a little figurine of your family on your mantle in your living room? I would think I have one. What is it called? Frogging? Like, where someone's like living in your basement or living in your house and you don't know. Those stories, by the way, oh my god, ew. I've seen like videos on TikTok of people setting up a security camera and just seeing someone like come out of the attic and roam around at night. Fuck off. That is so scary. We received this gift about 8 months to a year before my mother passed away from cancer. So that made the painting on the sled very freaky in hindsight. Oh my god. That's like they knew. Oh. My dad only told me this story once, and he denied he ever told me it when I asked him about it recently. If I can find the sled, I'll post a picture. It's very small and looks quite old. Is there a photo of it? Everyone's commenting, pic, please, picture. Please! Hello? She couldn't find the pic. Fucking hell, dude. Come on. Another comment says, I worked at a public pool. I would work alone after hours cleaning the building and the pool. One night around 2 a.m, I'm cleaning the change rooms. The pool has been closed for about 4 hours at this time. By the way, working anywhere graveyard shift on your own? Hell no. Hell no. I hear the sound of a child's laughter and bare feet running across the pool deck. Oh my god, no. I go out and scan the area. There's nobody in sight. The doors are all locked and closed. There is nowhere a kid could be hiding. No wet footprints on the pool deck. I rechecked the doors and the security monitors. I'm the only person in the building. It was unsettling. Oh no. Ew. Ew. So creepy. Another comment. I've written about this before, but once while falling asleep after a movie with the family, I was awoken by what seemed like a small boy running towards the couch we were in. Oh my god. I just had to, hang on a sec. I just dropped my phone on my bed. That's something running at you. Waking up to that in the living room. Oh my god. Sorry guys. Okay. I immediately sat up and braced for impact. Now, I would normally chalk it up to falling asleep, but my mum and dad also bolted awake at the same time. What? Before I could explain, my dad told me he saw a boy running towards us. Oh my god. His description of the boy matched mine, while my mother confirmed as well. No. Oh, fuck. You know what? I've heard stories like that. Like, I've seen stories like that about so many on TikTok, and they're the ones that really fuck me up, about when people have, like, synchronized dreams. I've heard stories about someone passing away in a family, and then the night before having a dream about them being in an accident or drowning or something, and then waking up and finding out they've actually died that way, which, first of all, wow, I would never get over that. But then I've heard stories that on top of that, like 2 or 3 people in the family had the same dream with the exact same description the same night. No one on this earth can explain that to me in a logical way. There is actually no way you can explain that, and that is why I think ghosts are real. I feel like I've had too many experiences, I've heard too many stories, there's so much out there, there's no fucking way you can convince me that they don't exist. I have seen too much and known too much that I don't even have that option. I can't not believe in them. Do I see them every day? No, but I know it's a real thing, because how the hell would something like that happen? You know, like, it just doesn't make any sense. And that's why I love these stories, because at least sharing them on the internet and having other people talk to you and validate it and go, oh, that's happened to me, makes us feel a little bit more connected, because it's crazy. Wow, okay. When I was about 10 to 14, I had terrible insomnia. I would imagine things and feel incredibly unsafe, as though I was being watched, although I never admitted this to anyone. I began only sleeping on the couch, with my back against the wall, and had to have the TV or some sort of light on. Now I'm thinking about it, I feel like I had the same thing. I remember I got so bad to the point where my mum had to, like, literally sit on the bed and rub my back and put, like, lavender oil on my pillow and everything to get me to fall asleep. And I was about the same age, because I felt that something was in my room. Sorry guys, flashback. Okay. I missed an immense amount of school because of this, so my mum had me see a neurologist. The neurologist diagnosed me with some things, but the crazy part was, during my sleep study, I slept amazingly well, no issues at all, and slept in the real bed. Eventually, I got transferred to a children's hospital, and speaking to the doctor, I explained I would see things and feel uncomfortable. They thought I was experiencing sleep paralysis. When they told my mum, she went ghost white. She pulled me aside and explained she was experiencing things too. She described in detail what I was seeing. Oh my god. That evening, she approached my brother and asked broad questions. Do you have anything weird that's happened in the home? He also described what we experienced. Oh, fuck, this is what I mean. Oh my god. It was then I realized we must have paranormal activity in the house, and I've believed it ever since. When we moved out of that house, all my sleep issues abruptly stopped, and I haven't experienced it since. Someone commented saying, what were these experiences, if you don't mind? And they replied saying, sorry, I didn't think the post would really get this much attention, so I didn't put a lot of effort into detail. I would see a large dark figure that I believed to be a man who would walk the halls at night. Blah. Ew. Ew. Okay. I would see things happen and hear things happening, like a cup would fall off the counter or items on an entry table would move. One evening, I remember seeing a black figure that was smaller, size of a basketball, run across my bedroom floor, hit the wall, and went under my bed. Oh, what? Like a fucking gargoyle or something. Why is it the size of a basketball? What the hell? As I was convincing myself it was imaginary, my mum came running in since she heard a loud thud. No. Oh my god. At the time, we hadn't all concluded the ghost thing, so I didn't say what it was, but ran out of the house and spent the night at my friend's because I was terrified. Valid. Fucking valid. My mum experienced many times the feeling of someone sitting on her bed. Ew. She said she'd think it was one of us and look, but there wouldn't be anyone there. Just an indent as if someone was. There's more, but I'm at work. My break's over. Okay, sis. Oh, fuck that. Alright. Let's maybe read one more creepy story. And yes, I am still literally laying in my bed with Apple headphones. That is the setup. But it's actually really comfy. It's really a vibe. I mean, getting scared isn't. Actually, it is. I love getting scared. It's like my favorite thing. Okay. Here's another comment from 6 years ago. I was always on the fence about ghosts because there's no scientific evidence of them being real. And I was going through a big question phase with religion and afterlife at that time anyway. But my family moved into an old farmhouse when I was 12. This was a very old farmhouse with a build date around the Civil War. The original owner's name was still on the old barn out the back, and we found numerous old antiques built into the walls when we completely renovated the place. A few odd things happened after we first moved in, but distinct things started happening to myself after I turned 16, but never to my sister until after she turned 16 too. The most prominent memory I have. The upstairs consisted of 2 bedrooms. One bedroom was the room at the top of the stairs, and the second bedroom was in a separate room just to the left at the top of the stairs. I had the private room, and my sister's room was the landing. When someone walked up the stairs, it was very distinct. You could hear each individual step, and the creaks got louder as the person approaching got closer. So one night, I'm sitting on my bed watching TV or something, and I hear my sister come up the steps and go lay on her bed, so I start talking to her. When she doesn't answer me, I get annoyed and go into her room to figure out what her problem is. Only she's not in there. Oh my god, no. My mind was blown because I know I heard her. I called for her and she had been downstairs the entire time. We never felt threatened, but it did seem that this entity liked picking only on women. Even my mother, who absolutely doesn't believe in ghosts, had to admit some odd things had happened. I think the funniest thing was having my ponytail pulled while I was doing the dishes. I don't know why it was so funny. It just cracked me up that whatever it was felt like playing with my hair. Like, I don't know if that's funny, girl. I'm like, that to me, that sounds a little threatening. Something pulling your fucking ponytail. That reminds me of Paranormal Activity 3. I think it is. If you guys know, you know. That scene of the girl being pulled up by a demon by her fucking ponytail. That's the vibe I'm getting. Not very friendly, but like, ooh, stories like that where like you think someone's laying behind you and it's actually someone you know, like a partner's crawled into bed and cuddled up behind you, and or like your mum has, you know, put their hand on your back, and turning around and it not someone not being there, like instantly you would feel cold and scared. This one says, so in high school, I worked at kids' birthday parties. The place was basically a giant gym, and gymnastics/dance classes were also held there. One day I came in, and one of the girls I worked with, who was very spiritual and very religious, was totally freaked out. During the gymnastics class she taught that morning, one of the kids was staring up at the ceiling. When she asked the kid what he was doing, he said, "There's a little boy up there," and pointed at the ceiling. What? Ugh. Kids are fucking weird, dude. That's scary. Strange enough, but whatever, kids are weird. Later, 2 girls who were working a birthday party before mine came out of the gym and were visibly shaken. A pair of 5-year-old twins went down a slide and then stared at the ceiling. They both said that there was a little boy up there, in the same spot on the ceiling that the kid from the morning gymnastics class said. No. What if there actually is a child up there, like in the vents or something, that just keeps like fucking poking their head out? I mean, I don't know. We all went in and inspected the ceiling. Okay, good. Okay, good. Of course, it was just a regular grey warehousey ceiling, but we were all super freaked out at that point. No, fair enough, you gotta check. Like, I would have done that. During my party, I was pushing a little boy on the giant swing we had in the gym. He too began to stare at the ceiling. He said directly to my face, in all caps, by the way, "Hey, there's a little boy up there." We told all of our co-workers and managers about the 3 separate experiences we had today with the children from different parties and classes seeing a little boy on the ceiling. The next day we had downtime between parties and nobody was in the gym. There were cameras in the gym that allows parents to see their children playing from the lobby. My manager called us out of the break room. "Guys, check this out." I'm not ready. We come out and see the screen, which is streaming live from the gym, showing the giant swing going back and forth, and nobody's in there. It's just the swing going. Yeah. I like to think that the ghost was truly a little boy who just wanted to play, and he finally got to go on the swing. Could be worse. Aww. Ew, though. I don't like that. Oh my god, someone fucking commented saying at least he waited his turn. Very polite ghost. Yeah, literally. Someone said his parents definitely raised him right before he died. I mean, yeah. That's so fucked. I have to come back to this thread. I mean, it's saved, but these are the kind of comments that I love reading. Like, absolutely yes. I might actually skip the dating stories just for this episode, so I might wrap that up here. We may potentially have a special guest on my next episode. Guys, I am so fucking excited. I'm so excited. It's one of my good friends who's actually in America. So we've got to figure out how to get this recorded while we're on other sides of the actual earth. But yeah, stay tuned. I'm so excited. He's one of my good friends and has some crazy stories. Like some like stories I have never heard, and I'm like so ready. And he has had actual like crazy experiences. Some of them have been on film, and like I'm sure we'll get into it. But anyway, I won't spill too many beans on that one. But excited. I'm keen as fuck for next episode. Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. I can't wait another week till I'm recording. But yeah, thank you for joining me, and I will see you guys in the next episode. It's gonna be so much fun. Oh my god. Alright, bye guys.